So we have the players sitting down. I believe that the round can start at any moment. And yeah, we see the tiles going back in the bag. So very exciting stuff. Lewis Mackay needing a very, very big run here. He's going to get a good start, starting first against Peter in their second game today, round 3 of 6. Yeah, so 4 rounds to go. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out of the bag. Welly, you're up for this? It's so late
Yeah,
where you are. You're gonna stay with us?
yeah.
Awesome.
I'm used to. I think I've over the years I've developed the ability to store sleep. So I could go another 24 hours without sleeping and be able to catch my breaths later. So I'm good.
Superhuman. You're a
Yeah,
superhuman.
incredible. I am losing that ability clearly. As it's day 4 of early wake ups here, and all right, let's see. Looks like some good stuff there, including the first blank for Lewis. Don't think he has enough vowels to get a bingo here, but he's got to be happy to see that tile find its way onto his rack. Take this one off, Josh.
Yeah, so AGHK or ALR blank is a pretty good opening rack. Thinking of LAKH. Don't like keeping the G, but that's probably the best move here, Welly.
Yeah, I totally agree. LAKH is about the best that you can do with this rack.
Whoa, but look
Yeah.
at that. For Peter to Boolies, at the very least, is going to come down after that. So you might have thought, okay, great, good start. I have the blank, but your opponent bingos immediately. Might not feel as good. Wow, crazy stuff here.
So we're likely to see almost any play Lewis can make is going to be pluralizable. Hark is no exception. So this is going to give Peter an opportunity to strike first with the Boolies, as you pointed out. Interesting that this word actually takes an S on both sides of it, but I think you would be playing it underneath to get the double word score. But just noting that doing so would not remove the other S. Are we going to see that potentially be used? We'll have to see.
Yeah,
Oh,
so Tabulis, Tabulis is the bingo for Peter here, and that draw from Lewis, not so great. Keeping the G and the L, which have okay synergy, but drawing that W and that C, which completely destroys all the synergy on this rack. Wow, good start for Peter. That's crazy.
so to Boolies for 80. Very, as you say, Josh, a rough draw for Lewis. He's not going to get, not sure what else
But
there.
he has cogwheel. He sees it. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I was going to say he's not going to get an O, but he has an H. And this is very high level word finding, Welly, from Lewis.
Yeah, he's very, very impressive. I think if there was a possibility of a bingo, I don't think he would have missed it. So I didn't expect anything less, and I'm sure that we are going to have a very, very interesting game at our hands as a result.
We're seeing some potential confusion for Peter after around a 2-minute think. Actually, a 3-minute think since he's had his tiles for that long. You had Tabulis lined up, but is that valid? Can you spell that word that way? There might be a situation here on our hands. Is he going to come back to this? Yes, he is. Is he going to be confident enough? We saw Xylanol. He took around a few minutes just to process that and talk himself into it being valid. So we hope to see this, of course, because the level of play has been so high from Peter, from Lewis. But yeah, I mean, it's not a given.
Yeah, exactly. If he has thought about it for this long, there is a high likelihood that he might chicken out of it because I have a theory that the more you spend time before dropping a word, the higher the chance that you talk yourself out of it. Which is why sometimes when I'm not even that sure of a move, I just feel that, okay, this should be something. And the best thing is to just play it as quick as possible. Because the
But
more you delay, the higher the chances that you talk yourself out of it.
I'm thinking about this, Welly and Will. If he misses Tabulis, he does have one more, or if he talks himself out of Tabulis, excuse me, he does have one more bingo in Halibuts, and Halibuts would block Cogwheel, which would be absolutely insane. Halibuts is a 15-point sacrifice, puts an S in a triple lane, and considering Lewis keeping GL blank, that would have been very likely to result in a triple if you knew what Lewis kept. But I wonder what's going to happen here. It's been 3.5 minutes of this. This could be a crazy shutdown for Peter. He's going back to it. And I think I mean, you're right. I think, Welly, that is a true statement that the more you look at something and the longer it takes to play, the less likely it is you're going to play it. But we've seen Peter do this before, and he has just ended up going with his gut and playing the word. But it's so hard. It feels like you're fighting against the waves, right, Will?
Yeah, there is turmoil going on internally, even though you're sitting at the table. On the exterior, there is turmoil in Peter's mind right now. And I think it probably revolves around the fact that there are many variations of the word tabbouleh this is one of many English words that we've stolen from another language. And when we steal from other languages, sometimes we don't know how to transliterate things just one way. And we just have a million different variations of those words. And in this case, tabbouleh has a lot of different spellings. And oh my God, this is going to be the mega troll. Wow.
No way. After 5 minutes, it looks like Peter's going to somehow block this amazing cogwheel play. That's crazy. What luck. This is nothing more than luck. Oh my goodness.
Incredible, Welly. That's just amazing to see.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is sometimes your doubt makes makes things work out better for you. So the most important thing is that he played the bingo, and yeah. So let's see how Lewis Mackay responds to this.
I hope for Lewis's sake, and he probably won't because he's too locked into his own side of things here. But I really hope for his sake he does not see that these letters would have played here for 15 more points without exposing an S, because that would be a bit of a troll and a pretty good draw here for Peter too. It looks like he could be close to another bingo in short order with these tiles. I'm not sure if he has one just yet, but in folder through the L, is that a word with an E? I think
Seems
it's only
weird
Yeah,
to
I think
me.
I think it's only
is
I think it's is it?
Is it
Okay.
only in folder?
Might only be
In
an
folder
I.
for sure. I don't recognize end folders as
Oh, it
individual,
is.
but
It is a
it
word,
is
yeah.
good.
Oh, and forlend. Oh, but okay, a taste of his own medicine here. As leaving the wide open S, which I feel like Peter, if he sees the bingos through the L, he's probably thinking, oh man, Lewis is playing through the S and I get another bingo, and it's not to be. So we're seeing some serious blocking here in the early going, Josh.
And wow, this is also, this play of Clegg is really condemning the top left of the board. We saw the S hook on Shark, but now that's gone with Clegg. So very interesting stuff. To start things off, Clegg by far Lewis's best play. It's very weird to look in that spot, but what a great find. Normally you just play through the S for sure, but that was definitely his best play. And Peter's bingos have been blocked. So wow, crazy stuff.
So I have a theory sometimes when it comes to obviously open hotspots. Sometimes I feel that when a hotspot is obviously open and it is evident that you can't do anything about it, it tends to mean that the game is leading you in a direction that would do better damage to your opponent. And it works most of the time from my observation. Because if you really look at this board, if you want to say I must play with the S, you just play with the S, like maybe something like slew, and then you get hammered with another bingo. But I think the more I look at it's a big theory, but it has proven true on several occasions.
I would say
superstition.
I would say that something I've learned about fixating on one hotspot, like for example, as we're talking about this S of halibuts, a variation of that idea that I feel that I've come up with, as we see a very nice play of fenders by Peter here. This looks like easily his highest scoring play and a great way to cover up that S in a productive way. But I just feel like I've learned, certainly against players like you or even any expert player, that players are good enough that sometimes when you feel like there's one area of the board which is by far going to be the highest scoring, sometimes you got to realize your opponents are good enough that there are always going to be other areas. A lot of the time, there's going to be other areas where they're going to find points. A good enough player is going to figure out a way to get 30 or 40 points in more creative ways than the obvious one. So, for example, it's been pointed out that Chark takes an A hook here, right? So this could potentially yield really nice scores back. And if you spend too much energy trying to block this S and you just get hit by your opponent's already optimal play, which hooks Charka, you've sacrificed a bunch of points to block what you thought was the worst spot on the board. But really, there's more to it than that. So yeah, it's almost a form of respect for your opponent sometimes when you don't worry that much about an obvious scoring spot, I guess I would say, Josh.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. And we all have our superstitions, and I love to hear about wellies. I'm going to hear a lot more about them, I'm sure, in future discussions. But yeah, 50 points between the two of these behemoths, and Lewis playing Fuse, which seems fine, taking out Charka, scoring very well. This is 35, so he's staying within range. VE blank, not the best, but he has decent chances of getting something from the R of Charks, or even to the D of Fenders, or to the E of Fenders. So board is way open enough for him to take the board sacrifice, and that's a good draw for him.
There is a star play available here for Peter Andronowski, and if he spots it, we will all be very, very impressed, guys. Would
Wow.
I know that we're using the engine to make sure the scores are updated, but I know Welly is just using his intuition. We'll give him a minute to see if he can spot it, but shout out, Welly, if you see the play that we think is the best one.
I don't think and nothing jumps out to me just yet. So
Okay,
I would
we'll
I will still
pause.
keep thinking on
The
it.
thing about Welly is, of course, you're. We love to have you in the booth, and you're such a fantastic addition to the commentary team. But if you're playing over the board, you're spotting Gomoku instantly. Gomoku through the K.
Oh yeah, I
39
think
points, by far the best play, but so difficult
yeah.
to spot. But Welly's finding that. Mako coming down, that's okay. That's a nice 31. 8-point sacrifice, keeping the G and the U. Yeah, so this is definitely a mistake, but an insanely high level of difficulty find.
Yeah, I give Welly 100% chance to find that over the board. And didn't mean to put him on the spot here, but in any case, Mako is still a very solid play. And when you see that, you probably are thinking to yourself, how could that not be best? But look at how much better off Peter would be in this situation had he played Gomoku here, using 2 O's and keeping his A in addition to the U. These are the sorts of plays that Peter has played so well every time we've seen him. But a very small handful of players in the world see that at each and every time. And look at the result here. We're going to see a 92-point bingo, even more karmic. Not sure what you want to call it, for missing Gomoku on this one.
Yeah, so this blank
Yeah.
could be a T or a C. We're gonna get the blank from our producer. Blank C makes the most sense. A very nice 92, putting Lewis up by 46. And now if you're Peter, suddenly things have definitely turned in your disfavor. That V is open wide. You don't really have a play there at all. And you have three O's again. We've seen this before. We've seen this song and dance. What do you do if you're Piotr Andronowski and you have three O's? I guess we'll find out. And a J, oh my goodness. Almost the same rack as we saw last round for Harshan on the redraw for Lewis.
Yeah, it's just brutal. What do you even do here, Welly? Oh, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, there is always the funny thing is that the first thing that jumps to mind is to consider exchanging, or but it's difficult to exchange when you are trailing by 50, and your opponent will probably just seize the opportunity to jump further ahead. But I think a move like YGO under BY also looks like something that can be considered. But other than that, I don't think there is anything else that's really makes constitutes a good play.
Yeah, it's the only way to score anything here. 27 for that. Makes a lot of sense. I guess if you really want, the second option of outgo to get rid of two of the O's and the U and open the board since you're down. It's a little dangerous, but it also makes a lot of sense. So we're seeing Hoy instead, which is a decent play in its own right, but keeps the G slightly worse probably than Wygo. But a good way to score with a terrible rack.
Yeah, it's close. It scores one more point. But Josh, as the chief G hater of all of us, of course, you've got an opportunity to get rid of that tile here. That might have been a subtle improvement, but still, very nice job by Peter to find a good score from such a brutal rack there.
Yeah, and it's not a huge difference. The G actually helps you score a bit here, but Wygo I think is one of the hardest three-letter words to spot. It's such a bizarre one. So I think if Peter saw that, he would have played it. On the other hand, Lewis now, in terms of play finding, there's another really difficult play available now that Toy has invited, and that is the play of Tajin, which now fits a top Clegg for a nice 40 points keeping PS. I wonder if he's going to spot that. I think my thinking would revolve in this area, but I don't see anything great there. So I wonder what he's going to do.
Yeah, I have a theory of letting the game lead you. And I usually, when a board is open in several places, and sometimes when I try not to fixate on making a play in certain aspects. So I think a move like Tajin should be easy to spot for someone of Lewis Mackay's caliber, or even just Taj. Taj is also a very solid play. Taj leaving pins as a rack leave looks like a good play also.
Thinking maybe of Jape as well, which scores a little bit lower than the plays that we've been calling out, but maybe gives you slightly improved odds of getting a bingo. At the same time, when you do not draw a bingo holding INST, you might be looking at lower scores on your next turn than if you keep the P as well. I was thinking he was at first looking at Ahi here, which made me wonder, is he going to see that the T and N slot in alongside that to form arguably his best play, scoring 40 points in that spot? I'm sure he's looking there or thinking about it. Is he going to go with Jape instead and put all his eggs in the basket of bingoing? Not necessarily what he wants to do with almost 20-point lead that could be closer to 60 if he takes his top score here.
Yeah, so he's missing it. I really think that this was just a matter of not necessarily looking at what changed. Very, very slight nuance. Boy setting up Agio, which wasn't there before. Jape coming down, very good leave, but a lot of points left on the table there. But this did block the play Peter was thinking of, although now he has the option to nicely underlap with one of his O's. So I think definite miss there for Lewis Mackay, but look at that draw. Wow. that is fantastic. He's going to bingo for sure next turn. So he's in great position regardless.
Yeah, no question. He's bingoing all over the board with that one. It just goes to show, as I was saying before, even the plays that are quote unquote suboptimal often have some merit to them. In this case, the play of Jape, we think Tajin for 40 was probably better than Jape for 26, but Jape does give you a higher chance of drawing a bingo. That is what Lewis has done. So it's not always so cut and dried. And I feel like we've seen a couple examples of that in this game, Wellington, where plays that were maybe a computer engine might say there's something better, but even the suboptimal plays can have some benefits, like we saw with Halibut's earlier in the game.
Yeah. So the thing with plays in Scrabble, that is why we have a saying in Nigeria that it is better to miss your play than to play phony. So it is more or less pointing to the fact that in Scrabble sometimes there are no hard and fast rules about what constitutes best plays or the optimal plays and all that. So sometimes when you just the most important thing is to make a play that is supported by some form of proper reasoning, and the game would most likely unfold the way in a direction that this new play now points to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Again, we were talking about this yesterday. We think Tajin is a better play, but we're not 100% sure in situations like this. And this is a very interesting decision by Peter. Instead of underlapping Jape, he makes a very wise decision, I think, to play here instead, not give back the huge counterplay that playing JO would have done. It might not be, again, the best of the best play, but a very practical decision, and it actually blocks the best of what Lewis had to offer with this rack. So now he's considering, I think, playing Nidates, which
I think
is a little bit
instead
crazy.
on that Jape is also, I think instead is a better play.
Oh yeah, for sure. So this is a situation where again, these high probability words, I didn't see this either. Instead is 85 the best play despite opening the triple. This is like yesterday we saw the rack of AEILNST. These are racks that we try to drill as top players and try to know very quickly all of the words that are involved in this rack. So instead is the one that I tend to miss the most, that I don't think of, even though it's the most common word. Let's see if Lewis spots that. Definitely better to do that than to play Nidates.
Yeah, Nidates.
Josh, I was talking about instead under JA. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, this is a
man.
big miss. Wow. Very surprising at this level to miss such a high probability word. Instead making JA. This is crazy. This is going to give Peter a huge comeback with Oni.
Yeah, punished so hard with, I mean, look at this rack. After instead, it was going to be, Tony here or something. Who knows? Something not that inspiring for an average score. Instead, Peter's going to be able to hit a lot harder here and balance his rack quite a bit better with Nutty. But, the second blank, I should say, finds its way onto Lewis's rack. So, he's still in the driver's seat, and even though in the short term there's going to be some pain here, Lewis in great shape in this game.
Indeed, and yeah, this was definitely a mistake. Not a huge one, or maybe around 2 to 3% winning chances according to the engine Nidates, but Nutty coming back down. This was a fantastic opening for Peter's specific rack, and now with the second blank, Lewis is still by far in the driver's seat. But there's still a lot of tiles to draw, so we'll see what comes out of the bag for Peter.
It's a really good point too. Missing, of all the words you would expect a Scrabble player to miss, instead is not one of them. Like, it's one of the most normal words that you could ever hope to see be played in one of these games, and yet that's the one that gets missed. That is a Scrabble grandmaster for you. I feel a sense of kinship with that, Wellington. That's something I would do.
Yeah. But I think
Oh my goodness. There's a bingo available here for Lewis. If he finds this. Oh,
He's
oh,
close. I feel like he's close to spotting it. And this is going to be the funniest two-turn sequence ever if, let me just cut to his POV for a second. If he misses instead and finds now hence or no whence, or how, I think I would say now hence, right? Like if he finds this after missing instead, that's going to just be like Scrabble grandmaster, you know, the essence of being a Scrabble grandmaster right here, finding this incredible play. It's the only available bingo. That being said, he has very solid options, just like wine, which it seems like he's closer to considering here, with those tiles lined up on the rack meaningfully. But I'm sure he's looking over the rack and the board, thinking, could I be missing a bingo here? It wouldn't be the worst one to miss, but I think Lewis for sure knows it. The only thing I worry about, two blanks, not only your own, but having to play through a blank on the board, Welly. Sometimes it's tough to envision those letters.
Yeah, it can be very tough sometimes, especially in my case, for example, I have what I have I'm beginning to term as blank blindness. Although I'm working on it in recent years, but it has been a major challenge for me in a couple of years now, whereby a word that I can easily spot if it wasn't a blank, it becomes very becomes challenging for me to spot them when there's a blank involved. So it is not something that is new to Scrabble players, and I'm very sure if it was the raw tiles, he would have probably spotted it. But yeah, you can't blame him for missing now.
yeah, that's crazy. So Oxen for 53, the response for Peter. This is gonna really cut the deficit in half. Little does Peter know that Lewis is sitting on gold, EN blank, super likely to either come back here or even potentially hooking the E onto hooking the E onto Joe or even onto Axe to make a huge 90-point play. But wow, somehow maybe not. Equinia, I guess, is going to fit, but that's not going to be a huge score. And Peter with a decent draw, maybe he'll be able to come back. Is there a bingo on his rack?
I'll take a 7, but certainly he's going to have very big scoring plays to counter this. Really nicely done here by Lewis to spot Aquinia, his only playable bingo, really, really fast. It's going to put him up big. Players are probably getting cognizant of the fact that they want to leave some time on their racks to prepare for the end of the game. But no bingo available for Peter, but he's going to have another 50 points underlapping his previous play up here. So he's going to be very much still in this, depending what Lewis draws. Peter will be only down 70. That's close enough to still threaten.
Yeah, down 120, but Marble is 56, Mobe is 50. Yeah, I wonder between those two. Looks like the unseen pool isn't so bingo friendly, but still a couple of spots on the board. It's definitely looking very rough for Peter. Even with that Q draw, Lewis is going to have decent options. He's played the blank Q, he's drawn the real Q. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, Peter thinking of Bella Moore, which is not quite good. Wonder if there's a word like that. Be labor.
Bellamore with a U.
Bellamont is with a U, yeah.
Bellamour. That's
Yeah.
French. Okay,
It's
okay, okay.
close. Yeah. And a lot of
NOUR, that
words.
is
So many words that go. Yeah. Welly, you were saying. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm done with my train of thought.
No, I think you were going to say that a lot of the words that end in OUR also go in this direction. Oh, but okay. Good job by Peter to not pull the trigger on a word he's not sure of. This is his highest scoring play here. but there's just so many words ending in OUR that can also be spelled OR. So nice job by Peter to realize that Bellamour is not one of those words. Play a 56 pointer to keep himself in the game. Nice work by him, Josh.
Yeah, so 336 for Peter, 400 even for Lewis Mackay, and they're just rescoring this because it's such a high score. So after that, Lewis was thinking of playing Visor and JOR, but now maybe he's going to part with the Q. I wonder if in the position like this one, it's better to play some defense instead. There's this big, big spot on top of marble now that's available for a 7-letter word. So I wonder if Lewis is going to go that direction and try to block with something. What are you thinking here in a position like this one with the scoreline such as this one, Welly?
Well, with this call, I think this call line can withstand a bingo from Peter. So in a game like this, I'll focus on this getting the Q out of the hand first, because if you play a move like QIS, it also addresses the spot on top of marble to a large extent. So yeah, I wouldn't fret about those spots for now. Just go ahead and play my games. And for now, the best thing to do is to take off that Q from that rack, because it can really, really restrict your options going forward.
Yeah, Will. So QIS is available here to potentially eliminate a lot of 7-letter words that might play here or even here. But Quap keeping the S is a similar score, but much better leave. Doesn't really block much. I wonder, Lewis is thinking about QIS. It's just so restrictive. Keeping that V and the I together, if you draw more consonants, might really saddle you. So it could be a situation where you sacrifice the leave value just to block the worst of things. And huge bingos are available. Peter had a couple different letters, something like ionized would be ridiculous here. So I wonder if Lewis is going to go that direction. He's thinking about it. That would be a pretty cool decision from his part. I really like the energy there. Quap is also fantastic play. You see the winning percentage, but
Great play.
yeah, this is a great play.
Great play. Engine likes it for good reason. There's a lot of reason why it would be good. Cutting off this bingo lane a lot is a great idea, but also the recognition that the S is not that good of a tile here, I would say. You can see another logical place where prior to cheese, where an S would have potentially played like here. No, you can't put an S here. That devalues the S quite a bit when one of the better looking bingo lanes on the board does not accept the terminal S, nor does this spot here. This is one of the other good 7s lanes on the board. S is not that useful to end words in that spot either. So really nice recognition by Lewis that, yeah, could you play Quap here, keeping your S? Sure. But part of the upside of a play like that is getting a bingo that ends the game on your next turn. And it's not that easy to do that holding VIRS without a good lane for it. Love that play. Really nice work.
And it's not only that, there's no hooks left for ES, so nothing going here. And any plays that would potentially go here or here to open and leave open some space on the board, if Peter didn't have a bingo, no longer really do a great job of that. So Uzo, which would have been by far and away his best play for 51, no longer opens the board in a nice way. He might still have to play that and hope for something marginal, but space is closing really, really fast. Maybe we'll see some sort of 8-letter word here. It's very unlikely that Peter can win the game after Uzo. He might have to hope for a big score that he's threatening that will outrun something that Lewis has in mind. Welly, I think this is very close to GG.
Yeah, I don't think it is close. I think it is there already. Well, the game is gone already. That is it. That is the power of the move of this QIS play, because it kills all the bingo opportunities from the board, and it just makes life easy for you and someone who is leading the game. So yeah, I think this one is done.
Wrong words from Welly. Of course, Peter's gonna bust, every resource open as that he can here. And I'm wondering if maybe something like doze is the idea for him to set up his case A in a way that's kind of annoying to deal with. This could definitely be blocked, but it at least creates a threat that has to be dealt with. Uzo, I feel like from Peter's perspective, he's got to be saying, wait a second, how am I down? I've scored 50, 50, 56. I'm scoring 50 points every turn, and I'm going to score 50 points again with my Z, and yet I'm still down by quite a bit in this game.
Yeah, this is very, very bad looking, down 90 points here. Zoe is the engine's top choice, and that's a very hopeful move, hoping for a potential out bingo. The problem here is twofold. You're down 90 points and the board is closed. But what's even worse is that, okay, he's maybe going for a Q bingo here, which is pretty interesting. What's even worse about this is the timing. There's 7 tiles in the bag, so unless you play 5 tiles, Lewis is going to get another turn to do something, score something, and leave the bag with at least 1 tile in it. And yeah, even in this particular instance, Querida, almost a bingo from the queue. It probably wouldn't
Close.
be enough in a lot of circumstances, but I like the energy of Zoo. I think if you're Lewis, you're not feeling 100% confirmed here, but just a 3-tile play somewhere, extending your lead to 60 plus, and you're probably winning this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's also another factor from Peter's point of view. There's another factor behind Zoo because not only does he need to win 1 out of the remaining 4 games, he also has to work against prevent Lewis from getting too much of a spread from him in any win that he gets. So a move like Zoo also does that, especially since it sets up the possibility of some possible high scoring plays under the ZE. So I think that that is also a good way to go about this game.
Yeah, Will. So it does look like the game's going to end with a pretty close score. Lewis just going to go for prom, leaving 1 tile in the bag. Very confident there. It's 24 points, extending his lead from 42 to 66. So he's keeping the nice score for Vin. He knows there's really not much going on this board. I think if you're Peter, maybe you just give up. You play Ader or something. Score very well. It's almost 40 points, but I think it's pretty much over here.
Yeah, Ader for 42 is a nice spread cutter. Doesn't feel like any of your fishes are going to score that well, such that your low point tiles on your next turn are not going to bingo for that much either. So I do think it's time to throw in the towel. Just want to point out Lewis's play of prom is a smart one. There wasn't actually anything available from the queue from Lewis's perspective, but what there was this lane here with extra overlaps, there were definitely a handful of words that still fit as 7-letter words there, and prom blocks all of those. So very clever recognition on Lewis's part that that's the area of the board where bingos can still mostly fit. Gonna go ahead and block that. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Indeed. So with 5 minutes remaining, Peter probably closer and closer to figuring out the bad news. The margin is just a little bit too high, and the unseen letter's a little bit too good. The board a little bit too dead. Down 66 and get 42. That'll bring you within 24, but Lewis will just get the next move. And no matter what, he's going to win this game. So great game again by both players. Some super crazy stuff in the beginning. Both players just somehow blocking each other early on, but those 2 blanks and the scoring power of Lewis's decisions, bringing him to the winning position in this game. But he needs some more help. Still 3 games after this, and I think with this margin of victory, he's going to need to win all 3 of them.
Yeah. There's also some other, I don't know, is there someone behind, like maybe like Sam Crispin, who is capable of winning all his games from table two and interfering with what is happening here?
I think so, right? I think if Sam continues to win, he and Lewis are going to be just one win behind. A lot is going to hinge on that matchup between Sam and Sammy, two Sams. Um, and if Sammy Okasaga wins that game, it might clear the way for Lewis to control his own destiny from here on out. We're doing King of the Hill, which I believe we are. Um, King of the Hill, by the way, for anyone curious, it just means the pairings are decided in a very orderly fashion. The number one player plays number two, three plays four, five plays six, and so on. There's no room for interpretation, which is a good way of doing things sometimes at the end of a tournament. So that game is important. But yeah, I agree with Welly that if Sam Crispin defeats Sammy Okasaga, he could make things a little complicated moving forward here.
It's interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, Sam would still have to win 3 in a row to overtake Peter in the standings. But Sammy as well, if Sammy wins 3 in a row and Peter loses 3, then he'll be in great position as well to overtake him. So things could still
Yeah.
be very, very interesting, but a lot needs to go the other way for Peter Andronowski, who's playing Odia here among his nice high scoring plays here. Probably a slight miss of Ader, which would score more and threaten more outplays, but a good decision by him with 2.5 minutes remaining, 7.5 for Lewis. Looking at some sequences already, thinking on his opponent's time, very smart, but he's probably not going to be able to go out in 2 here. I don't really see a way to do that. Do you guys see anything?
Well, the
No.
issue is you're right. So you at least have an outplay here. Does this play somewhere else on the board? Uteri. Yeah. So you've got two outplays. So if you're Lewis,
Inquire.
you don't choir. So you got three outplays if you're Peter. So you don't have too much to think about if you're Lewis. You just need to kind of make your highest scoring play that dumps some of the high scoring letters from your rack as well. And Vin looks like it's probably the answer. Get rid of the V and score 27, and you're going to be many points clear. But Vinka is a very close runner up, apparently. That's going to easily do it for Lewis Mackay as well, Josh.
Yeah, so 16 points, I think, for Uric, and 16 points for Choir. Vinka's 20.
Nice. Even
Vin
better.
is 27, so there's, I think, just a 1-point difference here. Choir coming down. I guess maybe Uric could have been missed. So yeah, Vin at least a 1-point mistake and 1 point at this stage. Probably not going to matter. I shouldn't say that, but that's the final score. 445. Peter Andronowski losing his first game on stream, and the rematch versus Lewis Mackay. Another banger. Welly, what a great game.
Yeah. It promised it lived up to expectations.
Yeah, it did.
We're
gonna get
couple
more
of crazy things happen
with these two too. So it's like these games between these two have been so great. I can't wait to see more, Josh.
Yeah, indeed. So hopefully we get to talk to Lewis after that very, very important win, narrowing the gap to 1 game between second and first place. 3 games remaining. We have 1 game before lunch still, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have just finished round 29. That means we've got 1 more. We are just about to hit round 30 here. Then it'll be lunch break and our final 2 rounds of the tournament. So that's what we're looking at as far as schedule. And now it's fair to say, Josh, that I said we're into the home stretch. Like 10 games ago, I said something about the home stretch. Maybe a little premature for that, but not now. This is it for real.
This is it. Yes. 3 games left. This is the time, crunch time, as many might call it. This is where champions get made. And we're probably going to see a rematch of these two if we have the King of the Hill pairings. Oh, we have a subscriber count again. We're almost up to 900. Thank you, everybody, for subbing to the new Wespa YouTube channel. Will, thank you so much for running the stream. Welly, for hopping on. What a pleasure and absolute honor to have you on board with us for these games. We'll see how much longer you last. I think maybe you can do it.
Yeah,
A
I'll
bunch of
probably just
questions
last.
remain.
I'll just last till to lunchtime. Maybe when they go on lunch break, I'll try and catch some sleep from there.
Okay. That sounds a bit reasonable.
More
I know
than
you're
fair.
capable. I know you're capable of staying up. But you got things to do as well. But yeah, what a pleasure to have you. Let's get some love for Welly in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. We're gonna get Lewis talking to us in just a moment. What time is it where you are? What Scrabble scene is there where you are? What are you thinking right now? Who do you think is going to win this tournament? Let us know what you're thinking in the YouTube chat. We'd love to hear your enthusiasm as the scores get entered. We're going to have Lewis talk to us. If you have any questions about the game, also let us know. Maybe we'll pass those on to him. But yeah, crazy stuff.
We have to ask him about Cogwheel and whether I think he's too focused on his own end of things to realize that there was so Peter clearly saw Tabulis. It wasn't a miss in the traditional sense, but all right, we got Lewis on the headset here. Hey, Lewis, it's Will, Josh, and special guest Wellington Jigare in the booth here. All three of us just want to congratulate you on a huge win for you in the tournament sort of situation. Another great game between you and Piotr Andronowski. How are you feeling now after another kind of tight game throughout?
Tired mostly. It's been a grueling event, and we're not done yet, and yeah, still some race to run. So yeah, just got to keep plowing through it, I guess.
Yeah, Josh, where to start? I feel like Cogwheel has to be where we start with him.
Yeah, Cogwheel, what an amazing find. We were nowhere close to seeing that in the booth. And how surprised were you after 5 minutes that a block of Cogwheel came down? Were you expecting that you're going to get that awesome low probability word, or were you kind of expecting something bad to happen?
Well, I was pleased to see it at first. Yeah, it took me a while to convince myself it was actually a word. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to see a bonus from the H. I thought maybe the bonus hooking Harks after that length of time thinking was the more likely choice. And yeah, Piotr didn't see Tabulis, so if he'd play that, then I get Cogwheel. But yeah, at least I had some kind of scoring play after Halibut. So it was annoying. I don't think I could have used the S in any productive way. So I think Clegg was the move there.
So did you notice that he had Tabulis, or was it something after the game that he mentioned?
No, I saw it as soon as he played it.
Oh,
that's a troll. Oh yeah.
My goodness. Well, you got him right back. Clegg blocked Forlended and Folder. So
yes,
that was a really great find.
Yeah.
Really key find there. Any other moments in the game where you were feeling not so great, maybe somewhat good about your chances? There were so many crazy moments in this game. So many to mention. Was there something you wanted to ask us about, or
is Ween a verb?
I don't think
WHEEN?
so. No.
No.
Because I saw that. I think Ween's a roll of pennies. I think it's a Scots word. So yeah, nice to avoid playing weaning at least.
Yeah, no weaning. Wine is definitely one of the top plays there. Through the blank, we assume that was a blank C. You would have played potentially now hence with that rack.
Oh, very
through
nice.
the
Yeah,
C.
no.
But wine is very comparable. Yeah, it's so wine is like 38 points leaving the blank. It's not even really that much of a miss to play that. So no worries there. But for me, and I think all of us in the booth, our favorite play of yours was cheese. That was just so good to play that, blocking so much of the board. How hard was that to play?
Not really, because I have a hard time losing, I think, after that, because he can't bonus. I mean, the Zed's a big threat at that point, but I can fade that. So yeah, after cheese, I thought as long as I draw some vowels, I should be okay, even if he gets the Z for a big score, which is what happened.
Yeah, we love that play, Josh.
Yeah, Welly, what do you have any questions for Lewis? Any words of wisdom for him? Any encouragement at this stage of the tournament? You've been here before so many times, and so has Lewis, of course.
Well, I don't think I have any questions. I just well, I'll just encourage him to not rest on his oars yet. There's still a whole lot of work to be done. You practically needs to win all 4 games to all 3 next games to probably upstage Peter. And yeah, we're hoping you're able to at least win the next one to start with, so that
To give
things
you
will get
something to
very, very
watch, yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, for that sake, for the sake of the viewers and everyone else, of course, we'll be rooting for you to stage another win. But of course, it'll be awesome to see you take a comeback victory in this if you continue to notch a few wins here at the end. You've been playing great. And just want to say thank you for all of the great plays. And we're going to probably see you on the stream maybe in the very next round, depending on
I
what
think
happens.
it's King of the Hill to the end of the event, I think. So
Yeah.
yes, you may well do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta stay with us, Lewis. Make it interesting.
Right.
Yeah, no, we believe in you.
Yeah.
You're playing awesome. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Good luck next game. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye for now.
All right. Thanks very much to Lewis Mackay for another interview there. So yeah, what can we say? He saw Tabulis immediately. That would definitely be a bit of a troll, but he spent very little time on that turn making his best play of Clegg. So it didn't affect him. It didn't bother him seemingly. He just noted it as a detail and moved on.